I'm going to do a quick review on Fiberlock. Fiberlocks for your head gasket, cracked block, cracked head. Basically, if you're losing coolant. Okay, so we use this stuff to see if it, it's got nanotechnology and fibers and all that, military strength fibers. It's got all these cool, selling points on the bottle. I'm just going to say that, okay? They're selling points, whatever. You could say anything, but let's talk about if it really works. Okay, now this is my personal experience. I'm not a spokesperson for these people. I'm not getting paid. Yeah, K&W. I'm not getting paid to work for these people. They're not sponsoring my channel. There's none of that stuff going on. So I just want to let the public know, does this shit actually work? Does it really work in your radiator for losing coolant?
Head gasket and all that.
Right, head gasket, cracked head, cracked block. If you're losing coolant, and will it even repair your radiator? Cracked spots in your radiator, possibly. Now, my experience from using it, I've used it twice on two different things. Okay, one of the things I did it temporary, and then I replaced head gaskets. Now that was on this 5.4 liter V8, which is over there, right there. So we got another video where we replaced the head gaskets, and the Fiberlock it finds the heat zone and it patches it up. Now, here's the thing. They say you can either drain this stuff out after you use it and it does the repair, and the repair takes, in both things that I've added in, about 20-30 minutes, okay, of running it. Maybe less. It just depends. And we had a significant leak on that thing, and we were losing coolant in the cylinder, and our cylinder was filling up with coolant, and it was burning it as we were driving. So you get about 20 minutes of run, you were burning about, that thing takes 4 gallons of coolant to fill it up, so we were burning about a gallon of coolant in 20 minutes. So you kind of figure out how bad that leak was. Maybe half gallon, maybe I'm overestimating, maybe half gallon within a 20-minute period. So we were stopping and filling it up a half gallon more every 20 minutes till we got this stuff. Now I bought 3 bottles of this, and I keep some on standby for any vehicles that I have, because I consider it a great temporary fix. Now, will it clog up your radiator? Will it clog up your heater core? So far, no. But my recommendation is buildup of this stuff. You don't want to just pour it straight in. They say pour it in slow, but from my experience, I've found it all around my thermostat. When I've taken the engine apart, I've found it in one side of the engine versus the other, more so than the other. So it does build up really quick in an area. So you would want to shake the hell out of it, because, I mean, the inside of it, the stuff actually looks like some kind of like metal particles mixed with boogers or something. I don't know. It looks like freaking boogers, if you look. And I guess that's the military fibers. You can see the stuff actually looks like boogers in a bottle. Okay.
Oatmeal, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever. It's like somebody blew their it's like a bunch of horses blew their nose in a bottle. Anyway, so does it work? Yes, it does work, because those boogers or whatever get in there through the system, and they get to the spot that's leaking, and they plug the hole, and then they kind of melt from the heat in that area, and then they form like a gasket.
Teflon.
Yeah, it's like a Teflon gasket. Or I've taken a piece that big on another video and broke it in half, and it was like I don't know, it was like
a resin.
Yeah,
epoxy resin?
Yeah, it was like an epoxy. It broke like an epoxy, and it all formed into one goulash. But I have also drained this stuff out of the coolant system, replaced the coolant, and then had it leak again about 200 or 300 miles later, or 100 miles later or so. So my recommendation is, if you're going to use this, leave it in the radiator. use like half a bottle on 4 gallons, depending on the size of the leak. That's what I use, about a half bottle on 4 gallons of the coolant, and I let it go. And I tried to drain it once, and it started leaking again. So what I did was I bought another bottle, and I put a quarter of the bottle or something in it, and I left it. Just let it circulate through there, and I didn't have any more problems. And then, of course, I changed my head gasket. Now, on my tractor, 4-cylinder, I have a 4-cylinder tractor, a big riding tractor. I changed the head gasket, and the head gasket was leaking in almost every place. And they say those old engines need the carbon to build up to stop the head gasket from leaking. I don't know why. The head wasn't warped, the block wasn't warped, there was no problem. But I put this stuff in the tractor, and it sealed that head gasket quickly.
All the way around.
All the way around.
That was surprising.
Right, and so that was after about 20 minutes, 30 minutes of runtime. So, and I only used like a quarter of a bottle in the tractor, and that only takes like a gallon and a half of coolant to fill it up. So I used a good bit in there. So it worked. So does this stuff work? Yes, it does, and it does seal a pretty damn big crack.
We were able to drive that van with that stuff in it for another 5 days before we had the head gasket.
Before I replaced the head gasket, and that's like constant mileage. So, does it work? Yes, it does work. It absolutely does work. Will it work for your application? I do not know. But my recommendation is, if you're still watching, and you don't have, attention span problems, take this stuff and put it in, drain some coolant out, and put it in a bigger container, like an antifreeze jug, and mix half the bottle in the antifreeze jug, and then mix either coolant or water with it, whatever you want to put inside the radiator, and then pour all that stuff in there at once so that it disperses evenly, and pour it in slow as you're filling it up. That way it travels through all the engine components, and it doesn't just build up at your thermostat. You don't want it all in you gumming up your thermostat, and you don't want it to go all in the heater core at one time. It's like a big, like you took a big dump in the toilet and it clogs up the toilet, because that's what'll happen if you pour too much of it in there. It'll gum up a port all at once. Now eventually it'll break itself loose, because I can still pull my radiator, and find residue of this in the radiator. It's still free floating. So it doesn't dry until it reaches a certain temperature. It doesn't melt and then dry as a different shape. So that's my recommendation on this. It's good stuff, and it works. So that's my review.